What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and today I'm going to be showing you a brand new Minecraft mod showcase video, but this is actually my mod which I've been working on for many months now. So as you can see, we're now in a Minecraft full flat world, and the reason for this is because I'm going to be showing you this brand new mod which I've made, and you may see a few structures scattered around, and I'm going to be showing you all the features. Basically, this is my winter update mod which I've been working on for the past few months, and so many of you guys have been wanting me to actually release this, or at least show a mod showcase of the current version of it. Now, I've actually completely finished it now, and I'm really happy with the result of it. So, this is going to be a mod showcase showing all of the brand new features in my winter update mod. So I'm going to be showing you the structures, the mobs, the blocks, and the items, and just basically a full overview of what the mod looks like. At some point, this mod will be available for download. Currently, I haven't uploaded it, so you can't download it just yet. But do let me know your opinions in the comment section below and what you think about the mod. And without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, so you'll see I'm on a full super flat world right now. And basically, this is a flat world, and we're just in the normal creative mode on Minecraft, and I'm going to show you the structures first. Now, we only have two structures on this map right now, and these structures are the Ice Fortress, which is this Icebrick Fortress, and then we also have next to it a Viking Longhouse. So I'm going to show you the Icebrick Fortress first. So, as you can see, on the Icebrick Fortress, they have mob spawners which spawn blazers, and these are special blazers, these are ice blazers, and all around you'll see a few of them floating in the air which have already spawned. There's quite a lot of mob spawners here. Basically, the whole idea of this was to add a snow biome or ice biome based structure which completely mirrors what nether fortresses look like in the nether, but it'll spawn in snow and ice biomes, because a lot of people wanted me to add ice blazers, and I thought that was a really good idea. So these will generate in snowy and ice biomes. If you haven't noticed already, this winter update mod adds new features to the pre-existing biomes in vanilla, so we don't add any new biomes or dimensions. This mod just improves the vanilla and ice biomes in vanilla Minecraft. So these will spawn in those biomes. So this is called an Icebrick Fortress, okay? So this is just like a nether fortress, and this will spawn in the frozen river biome and also the snowy mountains biomes. So this is the only way which you can actually find this base. Now obviously, if you destroy blocks in it, most of it is just completely hard. It's not hollow inside. But what is interesting is there's actually a boss which I want to spawn in here. Okay, so I'm going to go down to the mobs, and I'm going to show you the boss which I actually want to spawn in here. Now, the boss which I chose to make for this is the Ice Golem. Okay, so he looks a little bit strange, granted, but he's basically a really powerful golem, and if you attack him, he will do some various different things, which is a fairly low chance. But you'll see I'm currently using one of the swords from the mod, which actually drops from this boss, Sword of the Golem, which does a lot of damage, so you'll see that this guy is pretty easy to defeat. But when you actually slay him, he will drop the Sword of the Golem. Now, the Sword of the Golem is a pretty strong item, okay? And you may wonder, why am I falling slow? That's because I actually have slow falling on. And basically, when we right click on this item, it will actually give us like 5 seconds of slow fall. So you can see here it gives us 5 seconds of slow fall 3, and we can use this to jump off objects. So basically, this Sword of the Golem, it gives you a few bonuses. So just right clicking on it means that we can jump off anywhere and just glide safely to the bottom to our freedom without taking fall damage. So that's the bonus of this item. I am going to make that boss spawn in this structure when the mod's released, so you guys have something to fight for. But basically, yeah, that's what the sword does. This sword has a harvest level of 3, it has 10 efficiency, 10 enchantability, and 1.6 attack speed, and it also does 8 damage versus mobs, so it's a pretty good sword. And if you want to compare it to diamond, this has 2031 uses for its durability, so it's actually pretty tough and pretty strong, so you can actually use it a whole bunch of times. Now, as for the triggers, like I said, if you right click, it gives you slow fall. And also, the interesting thing, which I'm not sure if you saw, if you actually attack a mob, it will actually give them a potion effect on them, and that's actually slowness. Now, the thing about the Iron Golem boss is, even though it's an Ice Golem and it's technically an enemy and will attack the player, it will also attack the normal ambient mobs in the game. So it will attack slimes, just like an Iron Golem will, and it will knock them up, and it will also attack skeletons. So it does actually operate and perform the exact same as a normal Iron Golem would. So, it will probably be helpful to villagers and some allied mobs, but it will attack the player because this is obviously a bad boss. boss. Now, unfortunately, since it doesn't have much health, a lot of these simple bosses can gang up on it pretty easily, but you won't see that happen when he's inside the structure. So this sword will give mobs slowness, and it will give you slow fall, so it's a pretty nice item for you to obtain, and it's basically better than a diamond sword, or around the same in terms of damage. So this is kind of like the first artifact weapon which you can get from the mod. So it just makes going to ice and snowy biomes a little bit more purposeful because there's actually good loot from there. Okay, so let's look at the next structure in the mod, which is the Viking Longhouse. So this is a custom build. Obviously, I've built all these structures in the game. This is mirrored off the Nether Fortress, and this is just an entirely custom build. Now, it's not the best Viking Longhouse, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. And as you can see, the roof is absolutely huge. So this was obviously inspired by countries like Sweden and Norway, and the reason why I added this is I think I was inspired to make a Viking mod originally because I was actually watching the Viking show. But if we go inside, you can see this is what the building looks like inside. It's kind of like a Skyrim inspired hall with all these big tables and chairs which do use pistons. So I did actually have to do some redstone wiring under here, which was a little bit frustrating. I probably could have just made a table block instead, but I didn't think of that at the time. But basically we have these Viking long tables and this huge throne kind of thing in the middle, which is a stove with a campfire, which is pretty cool. Now the first time I built this campfire, I actually didn't cover it in stone, so the whole building burnt down and set on fire. Wasn't good because I had to rebuild the whole house, but this is what it looks like. Now, there's going to be multiple mobs inside here, okay? So in this mod, we have a few different Viking mobs, which I want to show you, which is added in the Winter Update mod, and they actually spawn in this structure. So we have Viking Zombies, we have the Viking King, normal Vikings, and the Viking Jarl. So as you can see, the Viking Jarl will spawn inside this hall. Now this is inspired by the Jarls of Skyrim. If you've ever played Skyrim, basically there's like a Jarl in each hold or hold city, and basically these guys are kind of like the leaders of the city. So this is the Viking Jarl who spawns inside here, and he'll spawn alongside some normal Vikings who will actually be inside. So that's pretty cool. This is what happens. You go inside and you'll see loads of Vikings and a Viking Jarl. And there is also the Viking King, which I'll show you a little bit later, but he doesn't actually spawn in the structure. He spawns on the Viking longboat, which I'm going to show you momentarily. Now there's also the Viking Zombies. These are obviously bad guys, and these guys don't actually normally attack the Vikings, but they will actually be hostile to the player. These are basically just frozen versions of these guys, so they're basically iced out versions. So that's the Viking Longhouse structure and the Icebrick Fortress, so let's move on to the next features. Okay, so here we have some other structures. Now, there's one I'm working on right now, or was working on. I didn't end up actually adding this into the mod, but this was a structure which I was actually working on. Now, I didn't actually make this specific structure. I actually spawned this into the world in World Edit, and I didn't actually add it into the final mod. But it was kind of like a snow cabin. I was going to make snow cabin houses spawn in the snow because I thought that'd be a really good idea, but I never actually got around to adding those. I may add those in one final update if I find a use for them, but for right now they're not actually in the mod. Then over here, this is perhaps one of the other coolest structures which we have in the mod. This is the Ice Palace, okay? Now this is interesting because you'll find a lot of different things inside here. So as we go in the Ice Palace, you'll see the typical normal mobs from Minecraft Vanilla in here. So it's really cool because you'll see bats hanging from the ceiling, you'll see creepers, skeletons, all those kind of mobs around there, but you'll also see these new mobs, okay? And you may be wondering, what are these mobs? Well, basically, it's a new zombie type, which is called the Frozen. Because in the game, in Minecraft, we have Drowned and we have Husks, which are two different versions of the vanilla zombies. So basically, I added a new one called Frozen, and these are supposed to be just zombies that have been frozen and thawed in ice for a while inside the snow biomes. And they walk really slow, because they are obviously frozen and probably weighed down by water. And, as you can see, if we attack them with a diamond sword, they don't take too many hits to die, but they do end up being pretty tough enemies to fight, okay? So that's pretty cool. You'll find those guys in here spawning around in the snow biomes. And obviously I'll cover the mobs more specifically later in the video, but I'm just kind of showing you what's inside these structures. So as we progress down here, you'll see in the underside of the Ice Palace, you'll see a few chests. This is the chest room. In here you'll find really random loot, so you'll find things like slime, arrows, pumpkins, food, even chainmail armor if you're at the point in the game where you don't have armor as good as that just yet. You'll find things like compasses, clocks, shears, useful tools, and just loads of different random items which might be good to play on Minecraft and just bring back to your base as loot. So this is obviously a palace, so you'd expect it to have a treasure room. And it also has a hanging chandelier here, which looks pretty cool too. Now, the most important thing about this is if we go up the stairs, there's a fenced off area. Now, the reason why it's fenced off is just so the boss can't escape. But this is actually the Ice Queen boss, and you'll see I actually made this skin myself as well. Most of the things in the mod, if not all of them, have been made by myself. And you'll see the Ice Queen mob is actually a hostile boss in the mod, which actually spawns enemies to fight for us. So let me kind of give you an idea of what the boss fight would look like. So let me spawn the Ice Queen, and I'm going to spawn the Ice Queen here, and then I'm also going to give myself diamond armor, because we're going to have to go into survival mode, to kind of give you a taste of what the fight's like. We have like 200 slimes around us, so this probably isn't the best idea, unfortunately, but you'll see if I just show you the Ice Queen, she will throw glasses at us, and by glasses I mean potions, and she basically functions exactly like a witch would in Minecraft. So as you can see, she threw a potion on herself because she's an idiot, just like how witches are. But she does actually summon mobs to fight for her. So she can summon frozen Vikings to fight for her. She can summon zombies. She can summon basically every type of ice mob inside the mod. Now the reason for this is obviously because she's the Ice Queen. She's supposed to be kind of like the dark leader of all of the snow biomes in Minecraft. And it's kind of inspired by Narnia. So you'll see that's basically what the Ice Queen does. And that's the Ice Palace structure. So now that I've shown you the Ice Palace, let me show you the Viking longboat. So this is the longboat, and these will basically spawn inside certain biomes as well. Now the Viking longboat will spawn in a series of different biomes. The frozen ocean, the frozen river, the snowy beach, and the deep frozen ocean as well. And basically, these are just kind of like the shipwrecks in game, but they actually float on the water or on land as normal boats. So as you can see over here, if we destroy the wood block, you can access the chests, and they have things like food, lava, diamonds, just items from the game, even anvils and boats and things like that. There's some pretty cool loot items here, and usually what would spawn on here is the Viking King surrounded by a series of other Vikings. So you can see all these Vikings have kind of jumped off the boat, but when they spawn in game, they'll either be on the boat or around the boat. And then we also have the Viking King here, who will be on the boat as well. So this just accompanies the Viking Longhouses, which you'll find around the world, and these spawn in some more diverse biomes because the Vikings are just exploring the frozen biomes of the game. So that's the second biome which you'll see in game, which is really cool. Now we also have a new series of blocks, which is obviously from the Icebrick Fortresses. We have the Ice Bricks, we have the Icebrick Stairs for an example, and we also have the Icebrick Fences. So even if you don't go to these structures, if you're in creative mode, you've still got some pretty good nice blocks to actually decorate with and build your bases with. So if you want to make frozen structures in the mod, this is going to be how you're going to do it. Then we also have these ice ingots, okay? So these ice stone ingots, as you can see, it shows a little message on the item, what they're used for. Basically, stone of the living golem used to repair special weapons. So these actually have a chance to drop off the golems which you fight, which I've shown you already, and you actually use this in an anvil to actually repair the sword of the golem item. So when you have the sword which drops from the golem boss, if the durability goes down and it gets damaged, you basically use these and you actually repair it in an anvil. So that's how you repair the item. That's another item which we have. So let me now just show you all of the mobs which are added in this mod, okay? So we have tons and tons of different mobs in this mod. So there's going to be a lot of ones which we have to cover. And I'm just going to kind of go through them in order here of where they are in the creative menu. So the first one is the snow construct. Now, some of these mobs will spawn and some of them are not currently implemented into the game, but this is basically like a snow version of the Iron Golem. Then we have the frozen slime, which obviously, as you guessed, is just a slime, but like a small miniature version. And as you can see, they do still split into multiple slimes when they get attacked, but they're a lot smaller than the normal larger slimes you'll find in Minecraft. And then we have the Viking zombie, we have the Viking, and then we have a new type of wolf. So we have this Husky Dog. Now, this is probably one of the first custom mobs I made in this mod, so it's definitely not as high quality as some of the others, but I decided to keep it in the game because it actually looks really cool. Now, the cool thing about this mob is you can actually use a cooked pork chop to actually tame him. So if you right click on him with a cooked pork chop, you can actually have him as your pet, which is pretty cool. So now he's completely tamed, and we can actually use him as a wolf pet, and he will actually follow you at some point too. Now obviously he teleported there, sometimes it's a little bit glitchy, but for the most part when you're playing in survival mode, he will actually follow you as a pet. So that's the first tameable mob which we have in the mod. Then also we have the Emperor Penguin. A lot of these mobs have custom sounds which I got off the internet to make them more realistic. So these penguins will obviously spawn in the frozen lake areas. These will spawn in the snowy tundras, the snowy beaches, the deep frozen ocean, and basically the frozen river biomes. So you'll see this guy spawn basically around a lot of these biomes, and they'll spawn in groups which look really cool. So that's the penguin. Then we have the Yeti. This is the rarest mob in the mod because I didn't want to make this too common because he's really powerful. But basically it's a really tough mob which will be hostile to the player, and he basically attacks anything. And you'll see he obviously performs just like the Iron Golem does, so he'll attack a lot of the hostile mobs, but he'll also be hostile towards the player. And this guy will spawn extremely rarely. This guy has 350 health, so it's going to be a really tough fight to kill him. And he has a 1 spawn weight. If you don't know the spawn weight system in Minecraft, basically witches have like a 5 spawn rate, and then really rare mobs have like a 2 spawn weight. So this guy has a 1 spawn weight, meaning he'll spawn extremely ultra rarely in the mod, and he'll only spawn in the snowy mountains and the snowy Taiga hills. So if you want to find him, you're basically going to have to hunt for the Yeti. So it's kind of like a cool thing you can do in the mod. You can hunt for the Yeti, and if you find him, then you've basically achieved the rarest and hardest thing to do in the mod. So this was just a cool little feature I wanted to leave in. Now, I didn't actually make this particular skin. I actually found this on Planet Minecraft, so I decided to use it in my mod because I really liked how this Yeti looked, and it looked a lot better than the one which I initially made. Then we have the snowshoe hare. This is just another type of rabbit in the game. It's a lot larger than the normal rabbit in Minecraft, but as you can see, it does actually walk. It walks a little differently to the normal rabbit, which is supposed to hop. But this rabbit walks, and it's a really cool mob. Obviously, these are all based off real-life mobs, or real-life animals for this mod, because it's obviously real-life inspired. So there's a lot of nice new animal types you'll have in this mod. These guys will spawn in the snowy tundra, the snowy mountains, and also the taiga. So then we have the walrus. Obviously these guys will spawn in the more snowy type biomes like these frozen lakes and frozen ocean, and you'll see them on the ice, which is pretty cool. I really liked how these turned out. We also have seals as well, which uses the exact same model, which I'll show you in a few moments. Since I've been working on this mod for a long time, a lot of these mobs I made a few months ago, and some of them I made literally 1 or 2 weeks ago. So there's a lot of new and different old mobs in here. We have the Ice Queen, which is the boss, which I showed you. If we attack her a little bit more, we can see a few of her skills. Currently we're in creative mode, so obviously you can kind of get a feel for the boss without me actually taking damage. And sometimes, if you're really lucky, she might not actually summon many mobs whilst you attack her, but she does perform like a witch. So because of this, she can actually drink healing potions to heal herself. So the reason why it's such a hard boss fight is you'll be fighting zombies, ice blazers at the same time whilst trying to kill her before she heals back to full health. So it's kind of a tough boss fight if you play in survival mode, and that's also a good reason to play this mod with friends. Next up is the Lynx. Now this is a new type of cat which I added in the game, which looks pretty cool. Currently they have white eyes, they look kind of evil, but the green next to it is actually part of its eye pupil. Now these are really cool. Now you can actually tame these guys as well, so you can use 2 different items to tame it. You can use cod, which is obviously fish, or you could use chicken. So we can use any of these items to actually tame the Lynx. And as you can see, when we use cod, it tames as a pet, and then we now have the Lynx as a pet. And basically, it kind of works the same as the Husky. And now you can see the Husky is actually following us, so you can kind of see an example of that. Now, all of the pets in this mod, they don't have animations when you right-click on them to make them sit. So it can be kind of confusing if you've made your pet sit on the ground and then it's not following you. But they do actually work. The next one is the Musk Ox. This one probably needs a rework because it doesn't really look as much like an ox. I actually just used the normal Ravager model from the Illager update from 1.14, so it kind of just looks like a reskinned Ravager, but it looks pretty cool. It's quite loud as well. You can see that the sounds it makes are pretty loud. Then we have the Arctic Fox. So we already have a snow type of fox in Minecraft, so technically this didn't really need to be added to the game, but I wanted to add a specific Arctic fox to the game that wasn't the normal fox off Minecraft. Now you'll see it just performs and runs exactly the same as a normal fox, but it has different sounds. You can see it actually just have real Arctic fox sounds, which are pretty loud. As for actually taming these, you can actually tame these as well. To tame them, you just use a carrot on them, and then you can tame it as a pet. So the thing which I really wanted to add in this mod is give more pets to offer to the player. So we can actually have this Arctic fox as our pet now that we've tamed it with a carrot. Unfortunately though, I do find it quite annoying with the loud sounds, so I am going to kill it, which is probably cruel, but you can tame those, which is pretty nice. So next up is the doll sheep. So this is a variant of the sheep with horns on it. Basically what I did for this is I used the vanilla sheep model, and then I just put some horns on the top and block bench, and I gave it some custom sheep sounds. So this just performs the same as a normal sheep. I just wanted to add kind of like a normal snowy biome sheep to the game, and it still drops a wool. The only problem though is these sheep don't perform like a sheep in terms of shears. So if you use shears on them, you can't get extra wool, because right now I don't know how to add that system in. But at some point I will update that and make them give you more wool like normal sheep. But you can't currently shear them. Then we have the Arctic Parrot. I was going to make this into some kind of falcon, but I used the Parrot model, so it really didn't look like a falcon. But this is just another bird which spawns in the game that flies around, which looks pretty cool. I'm not sure if you can tame those as a pet. I think you might be able to tame... Okay, you can't tame them. I don't think I made them tameable. Then we have the Lemmings. The Lemmings are kind of like small guinea pig looking animals. These are pretty cool. They don't really do much, but it's just another animal to spawn, and I thought they were really nice to add to the game. And then we have Harp Seals. So this is the seal. So, to give you an idea of the seal in comparison to the Walrus, they look exactly the same. They're the same size. They probably shouldn't be, but I decided to use the same model. But they came out pretty nice. Okay, so next up is the Arctic Wolf. So, yet again, this uses the exact same model as the Husky. So this is just a normal wolf which will spawn. So you have huskies which spawn, and then you have wolves which spawn. I probably should have made it so when you tame the Arctic wolf, it turns into a husky. Yet again, don't know how to do that just yet, but that would have probably been better. But this is just another wolf type that you can tame. Then we have the glaze. This is the name which I gave the ice blaze. I called it a glaze. Don't know why, it just kind of sounded cool. But these are just blue versions of blazes, and they will fly and they will spawn in the Icebrick Fortresses. Along with that, we also have Reindeer, because this is a snowy mod, so I thought I may as well just add Reindeer. And a lot of people wanted me to add Reindeer in my Christmas mod, so I'm going to copy this Reindeer over to that mod, and then I'm just going to give it a red nose, so we have Reindeer in the Christmas mod. But, as you can see, these reindeer look pretty nice. I'm actually really happy with how these turned out. Like, I actually worked quite hard on making this mob, and it actually looks really nice. I'm really happy with how the reindeer turned out. So that's the reindeer mob. Then we have Eskimos. So this is the first hostile human mob which I added into the game. Now, these guys, I'm pretty sure will only attack you if you actually attack them first. And basically these guys will spawn in the snowy tundra, snowy taiga, and snowy taiga hills. And basically they're just normal Eskimos. So these guys have huge axe spears, and they will attack you if they see you. And they're actually just the normal speed of a walking human mob. So they look pretty cool. I just wanted to add more humanoids to the game, because when you explore Minecraft, you never see any other people which are actually alive. You just see villagers with the big noses. So I want to add some more humans into the game. So you'll find these Eskimos spawning around the world, along with these ice spiders, which are just tough versions of spiders, but they move really quick. Because spiders, they creep and crawl, but I wanted these guys to move really fast. And along with that, we have the frozen, which I've shown you already. These are just those ice zombies which you'll find in the frozen biomes. Obviously, this mod adds content to the snowy biomes and the frozen ice biomes. So it's basically just a huge update to the snowy biomes in the game. Then we have the Vikings, which I've shown you. And the Ice Golem boss, which I've also shown you already, which is pretty cool. That will actually attack the Vikings as well, because the Vikings are hostile. So it's pretty interesting that a lot of the mobs will actually fight each other in games, so you can have some really awesome duels. Now, this is one which I made, I believe, yesterday. This is the Arctic Ermine. So this is basically kind of like a sloth. It also looks a little bit like a koala bear kind of thing, so maybe I'll reuse this model and change it a little bit and make a koala bear at some point. But this is the Arctic Ermine. It's kind of like an otter in the game, which is kind of cool. So this will kind of wander about. And as you can see, it kind of has the same sounds as like a cat. Then over here we have the snow leopard. So this actually has real snow leopard sounds as well, like purring. If we attack it, it'll growl at you. And then if we kill it, it'll kind of have like a fade-in purr sound. So I did actually add some really nice custom sounds to all these mobs. And then the last one I have to show you is the snowy owl. So this kind of looks weird when it flies. This was another one of the first mobs I actually created when making this mod. And it's kind of hard to see it. It's kind of hard to actually show you this thing because it kind of just wanders around and flies around everywhere. But if we make a fenced up base, I might be able to just kind of give you an idea of what this guy looks like. So this is what the snowy owl looks like up close. This guy will spawn in a lot of the snowy biomes, but you'll never really see him up close because he just flies so quick. And that's basically all the mobs in the game. Now you may have seen earlier there was actually a bow which dropped. So not only can you get the sword of the golem, there's also another item. If you defeat the boss, which is the Ice Queen, you can actually get her bow. So this is the bow of the Ice Queen. Now you can see it shoots really fast and actually quite far. It has a lot more power than a normal bow, but instead of arrows, this thing shoots snowballs. So as you can see, I can shoot this pig from over here, and we don't actually need to aim that much higher because it's actually really powerful. Now this is called Bow of the Ice Queen, and basically it has 1,561 uses for its durability. It shoots snowballs, and it's basically just a really awesome weapon. It has 2 bullet power, and if you use a normal Minecraft vanilla bow, that has 1 bullet power, and it also does 5 damage. So it's a really powerful weapon that will one-shot a lot of the really weak mobs in the game. So this is a really nice bow which you'll be able to get if you actually manage to complete the fight against the Ice Queen in the mod. So that is basically everything in the Minecraft Winter Update mod. I just wanted to show you this brand new mod that I've created. If you guys want to test it out and download it, it will be available soon. Let me know what you think about the mod. I probably won't be adding any more features to it because I'm pretty happy with where it's at. I might fix a few things and improve a few things before I release it, but overall I'm quite happy with where it's at. Now I do actually plan to make a mod pack at some point later this year with all of these mods that I've been making and put them all together. And then I'm thinking about even making a server where all you guys can play on it with me, and we can create things like modded Minecraft episodes. Maybe we can do a series, maybe do challenges and events on the server and get all the subscribers to play on it on modded Minecraft with all these mods that I've been making. So a huge idea for a project there. If you guys are interested in that, let me know in the comment section below. I might actually make a YouTube membership system on the channel where if you guys subscribe and become a member on the channel, then you can actually play on the server and download all these mods. So let me know if you're interested in that, because I'm tempted to actually work on a lot more mods this year and actually release them. A lot of you guys have been asking me to make your custom mod ideas, and obviously I'm making a series about making all of the mods, but I can't make every single one. So I'm thinking maybe if you guys become members on the channel, you can play on the modded server, you can download all my mods early before I release them to the public, and you can give me mod ideas and I'll make your mod ideas. Just kind of an idea for the channel to have a membership system where you kind of have a bigger voice. So let me know what you think about that. Make sure to like the video and subscribe with notifications, and also follow me at the Blue Crusader on Instagram for more updates on the videos. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.